The island nation of Iceland is at the meeting point of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans. Its history and culture have been molded by its breathtaking scenery, which is visible from wherever in the country. The distinctive customs and language of Iceland are clear manifestations of the impact of Norse and Celtic immigrants. Icelandic literature and folklore provide witness to the enduring impact of the Vikings, who were renowned for their exploration and settlement on Icelandic culture. By protecting its breathtaking landscapes and historic landmarks, we guarantee that generations to come will be able to enjoy them for what they are and learn from the fascinating tales they tell, just like we are about to. Gulfos Waterfall. Located in the gorge of the Vita River, Gulfos is a breathtaking three-tiered waterfall. One of its alternate names is Golden Falls, because, when the weather is sunny, the water takes on a golden-brown hue. One of its most interesting aspects is the historical history it contains. The Cascade region saw a troop of elves singing a hymn in this magical place. The country's history and way of life were deeply influenced by turf huts, flat stone foundations, grassy roofs, and doors crafted from driftwood or birch make up these semi-subterranean homes. In the past, they were utilized by both commoners and strong clans and chieftains. Their design and look changed from that of longhouses to that of tiny linked dwellings when they were initially created by the Vikings in the 9th century. Turf houses were constructed by people in the past as a means of temporary housing, since there were few housing alternatives, such as caves or forts. It became common practice to demolish the buildings and build new ones in other places because of the ongoing upkeep that was needed to keep them in excellent shape. Turf homes were formerly abundant, but they became rare in the 20th century, when they began to draw tourists and were deemed worthy of preservation. Incorporating both contemporary and traditional design elements, turf homes are seeing a renaissance in popularity today. Vatnajökull ice cap and Jökulsárlón outlet. The second largest ice cap in Europe, Vatnajökull means Glacier of Lakes in English. An interesting anecdote about the ice field recounts the crash landing of a Douglas DC-4, a four-engined American airplane. A View to a Kill, a James Bond espionage thriller, and The Amazing Race, an American reality competition, were both filmed on location at the Glacier, adding to the site's already impressive filmography. Svartifos Waterfall. Svartifos, situated in the Central Highlands inside Thingvellir National Park, is renowned as one of the most picturesque waterfalls in the nation. It came to be recognized as the ideal location for photographers due to its picturesque vistas and landscape. The biggest church in the nation, Hallgrímskirkja, which we will talk about later in this movie, was supposedly inspired by the waterfall, according to local legend. Vestra Horn Mountains. The tall and lofty Vestra Horn Mountains may be seen from the country's eastern shore. They got their distinctive greenish-black hue from the greenish-black lava that produced them when it cooled slowly, creating an ovoid rock structure. Because of their beautiful characteristics, they are a popular subject for photographers and other aficionados. aficionados. Game of Thrones and the smash Bollywood hit Dil Wale are among the many films and TV shows that have used this majestic terrain as a backdrop. Near Stocknes Beach, you can see the mountains. This location is significant because it is the headquarters of the Iceland Air Defense System, which keeps tabs on Iceland's airspace. It came to be recognized as the ideal location for photographers due to its picturesque vistas and landscape. The biggest church in the nation, Hallgrímskirkja, which we will talk about later in this movie, was supposedly inspired by the waterfall, according to local legend. Vestra Horn Mountains. The tall and lofty Vestra Horn Mountains may be seen from the country's eastern shore. They got their distinctive greenish-black hue from the greenish-black lava that produced them when it cooled slowly, creating an ovoid rock structure. Because of their beautiful characteristics, they are a popular subject for photographers and other aficionados. Game of Thrones and the smash Bollywood hit Dil Wale are among the many films and TV shows that have used this majestic terrain as a backdrop. Near Stocknes Beach, you can see the mountains. This location is significant because it is the headquarters of the Iceland Air Defense System, which keeps tabs on Iceland's airspace. Reynisdrangar Sea Stacks. Off the coast of the Vic Emiral Peninsula lie the breathtaking Reynisdrangar Cliffs. The general public attributes these massive sculptures to prehistoric animals such as elephants, rhinos, or even live dinosaurs. According to folklore, the cliffs are really a petrified troll who lived in the distant region of Shrron in the past. The troll was enchanted by the sun's rays after trying to destroy the bells of the adjacent monastery. Nevertheless, according to a scientific theory, the monoliths are really sea-eroded volcanic dikes. Fiadrafur Canyon. Fiadrafur, a breathtaking natural marvel in the country's southeast, is frequently referred to as Feather River Canyon. The glacial rivers gradually eroded this historic monument over millions of years. Canadian artist Justin Bieber's usage of the canyon in his music video for "I'll Show You" boosted its popularity. But the sudden influx of tourists raised environmental concerns, leading officials to restrict access to the canyon. But this doesn't stop the river from carving its way down the canyon, creating little waterfalls along the way. Mýrdalsjökull Volcano, Catla. Eruptions from eruptions that occurred during the most recent glacial epoch created Catla, a composite cone volcano encircled by glaciers. In the winter, both visitors and residents are unable to reach this location due to the flooded roads that surround it. The intriguing part about this volcano is its discovery. It was previously concealed behind the Mýrdalsjökull Glacier and came to light after the glacier melted. The meaning of its name, Measuring Hill, is another distinctive aspect of this terrain. The same term is used for 9 more mountains in the country. Thingveer National Park. The peculiar geology of Thingveer has made it notable as a rift valley. Its name, which means assembly fields in English, reflects its past as the location of the Alþingi, the country's yearly parliament. At this geological wonder, the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates converge, creating a unique opportunity for tourists to venture between the two continents. The flip side of this is that earthquakes are rather often here. While the park's moniker Coin Fisher may seem fishy, it really derives from a long-standing practice that started with a 19th century visit by King Frederick VII of Denmark. The practice of tossing coins into the park's crevices. Skoga Waterfall. The Skoga River is home to one of Iceland's most impressive waterfalls, Foss. The cascade is a breathtaking tourist site because to the rainbows created by the abundant spray. According to local legend, the Vikings concealed a rich treasure under the waterfall. When the people found it years later, they could only remove a ring from the edge of the box before it disappeared entirely. An additional intriguing aspect of the waterfall is that it became gray around 10 years ago due to the ash that was deposited on it during the eruption of the Eyjafjallajökull volcano. Stakultskya Canyon. Stakultskya Canyon, next to Skogafoss, is said in Icelandic folklore to have been home to elves when a powerful man put an enormous boulder there. According to the story, elves are famed for their kindness when it comes to assisting cows give birth, but they despise when humans meddle. Curiously, it was thought that a farmhand who went missing while maintaining cordial relations with the fantastical creatures had wed an elfin woman. Fagradal Shrron Volcano. During the last glacial epoch, Fagradal Shrron, an active volcano on the Raikyanes Peninsula, was created. It is unusual among volcanoes on Earth due to its flat summit and steep sides. After more than 80 years with no eruptions noted, geologists finally found evidence of a fissure occurrence on the mountain's southern flank. The unusual effusive eruption it caused raised the possibility that Fagradal Shrron may change into a shield volcano in the future. Stoodvar Yal Canyon. The columns of basalt rock and the hypnotic blue-green waters of this natural wonder have made it famous. One of the biggest collections of basalt columns in the nation may be seen in the canyon's rock formations. The canyon became more well-known after an Icelandic budget airline, WOW Air, included it in their brochure. Curiously, as the local snow melts in the spring, the river takes on a grayish-brown hue. The grandeur of the canyon remained concealed until a dam was built to divert water from a neighboring river. Blue Lagoon. Located in a lava field close to the Raikyanes Peninsula, the Blue Lagoon is a famous geothermal spa. Due to its high silica concentration, the waters have a milky blue color, which has brought it fame. Psoriasis is a skin ailment, and this man-made wonder has shown promising results in treating the condition. Nevertheless, the lagoon has encountered controversy before. For example, it faced pushback for accommodating visitors, while a seismic swarm was reported nearby. Tragically, 22 lives were lost, and 25 others were severely burned or injured in what is now known as the White Island eruption. Dingjandi Waterfall. A beautiful panorama of towering cliffs and verdant foliage surrounds Dingjandi. Tourists are less likely to visit this waterfall than many of the country's more popular landmarks. The path leading up to the falls opens up in the summer, allowing visitors to see the waterfall from all sorts of new vantage points. Snæfellsnes Peninsula. We can see the Snæfellsnes Peninsula on the country's western edge. You can see the majestic Londrangar basalt cliffs right on its coasts. They are some of Iceland's most striking rock formations. And its moniker, the Rocky Castle of Iceland, comes from a local myth that the cliffs are home to elves, who farmers are said to have shied away from because of this. The Black Church of Budur, a chapel constructed in the 19th century, is situated on the other side of the peninsula. It has been utilized to commemorate classic occasions like musicals and weddings. The intriguing part of the structure is the way it was chosen for construction. A man got dizzy from spinning in circles, then shot 3 arrows, the last of which found the spot where the chapel would go. Helnar and Arnastapi are 2 communities located inside the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. These cities were formerly major economic centers because of the abundance of fish and commerce that occurred there. The unfortunate reality is that the population of the area, particularly in Helnar, was drastically reduced due to economic changes in the centuries that followed. The towns didn't start doing well again until tourism took off in the area. The Gattklettur Basalt Arch, also referred to as Helnar's Arch, is near Arnarstapi. Kirkjufell, the most picturesque and photographed peak in Iceland, is located on the peninsula. With its distinctive dome form and graceful profile, Kirkjufell's Foss, or Church Mountain Falls, provides a breathtaking background against which the mountain stands. Tragically, the glacier ridge is haunted by countless legends, including those of numerous hikers who fell to their deaths. Names like Sugartop and Coffin were given to the region by Danish sailors who visited in the past. Kirkjufell is a tiny peninsula that forms the backdrop of Grundarfjörður town. The district's wealth was historically boosted by its fishing business. The town's major commercial activity dating back to the Viking period is highlighted by the finding of ancient artifacts inside its boundaries, which is a fascinating element. The West Fjord Peninsula is home to Foss, another waterfall in the area. This waterfall, which is known as Ófeigs and is the largest in the area, is nicknamed the Jewel of the West Fjords due to its distinctive appearance that resembles a wedding veil. Thundering is the local name for this magnificent waterfall, fitting given the forceful roar it makes. Plus, according to local legends, this very site is home to a magical creature. Deep amid the expansive Berserker lava field is the majestic Grabrock crater volcano. It is widely acknowledged that this formidable terrain is one of the country's longest volcanic systems. Several centuries ago, An explosion via a crack created the crater. Interestingly, the grass moss that grows on the lower slopes of the crater in dry weather is named from the fact that the area looks like gray pants in translation. Arctic Henge. The Edda, the Norse mythological text, is the inspiration for the sculptures and stone arches that make up the Arctic Henge. The sculptures and arches tell the tale of creation and destruction. Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon is located close to the shore. As the glaciers on the Atlantic coast retreat, they create a massive glacial lake. Reported to have grown 4 times its current size, this natural wonder is now known as the deepest lake in the country, which adds to its allure. Batman Begins and Die. Another Day, starring James Bond, were among the Hollywood productions that use the site. The Breide Merkurjökull Glacier is the source of the icebergs that float in the lagoon. Glacial sheets drift serenely in the icy waters at this famed location, adding to the breathtaking backdrop. Research indicates that adjacent farms were wiped out when the glacier progressed in the 18th century. The degradation of the local icebergs over time led to the enlargement of Jökulsárlón Lagoon. Geyser Geothermal Area. Amazing geothermal activity may be seen in the southwest of the nation at the Geyser region. The spectacular hot springs and other active geothermal characteristics have made it famous. Within its borders is the Great Geyser, the site of the first geyser ever found by Europeans, some 8 centuries ago. Remarkably, this natural wonder only awakens during powerful earthquakes and then goes into a latent state thereafter. Regrettably, it was dormant for a while, and now its eruptions are rather erratic, happening every 60 years or so. One of the geothermal area's most impressive features is Stokkur Geyser, a fountain-type thermal spring that erupts every 5 to 10 minutes, unlike its less consistent sibling. An artist's attempt to dye the hot spring with food coloring in the hopes of creating a pink explosion is one disturbing occurrence at the location. Following this, the artist was taken into custody and fined. Diamond Beach. Located on the country's southern coast lies Diamond Beach. Notable features include the black sand and the ice chunks that give the area its name. There are reformed and fragmented icebergs that have been washed up on the coast that date back millennia that go to this spot as well. The beach is known as a favorite place for proposals, which is an intriguing aspect. Godapos Waterfall. Renowned as the waterfall of the gods, Godapos stands out as one of the country's most illustrious natural gems. The intriguing origin of the name of this area is based on local legends that say the Norwegians threatened invasion of Iceland if the Icelanders would not convert from their ancient Norse faith to Christianity. In order to ensure the safety of the people, a law speaker who was responsible for making the final choice sought advice from the Norse gods, and ultimately selected Christianity. The statues of the Norse gods were then tossed down the waterfall, which is today called Godapos, by him. Svartifos Waterfall. Sharp cliffs and beautiful basalt formations are what make Svartifos famous. The pillars were built hundreds of years ago when the lava hardened. This breathtaking waterfall is known as the Black Waterfall. Due to the black columns that surround it, it has served as an inspiration for several outstanding pieces of art and architectural ideas around the nation, such as Milestones by American abstract artist Richard Serra, Vaneri and surrounding farms. Although less well known than Vestra Horn, the Hornstrandir cliffs on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula are nonetheless a hidden treasure. A change in its name, Uxie, used to mean the Vestra Horn Mountain, is what makes this landscape interesting. Previously, it was named Vestra Horn. Its name, meaning Horn of the East, alludes to its position at the country's furthest east. The presence of valuable minerals like gold, silver, and mercury in the mountains is an intriguing aspect of these landscapes. The Fossa River is the source of two magnificent waterfalls in the Middle Highlands, Howie Foss and Granny. It is thought that these mystical waterfalls, which stand side by side, are like siblings who are trekking together. According to urban legend, there was a troll who resided behind Howe Foss. The troll would descend into stone at night and return home before dawn. According to another account of events, the legendary beast was really a female ogre who once dragged a weary traveler from his tent at night as a punishment for tossing a stone down the falls. The stunning red sand at Raaandor Beach may be seen changing shades of yellow, orange, and red as the seasons and weather dictate. The murder at Sur occurred in this peaceful location in the 19th century, when a couple murdered their husbands in order to be together. Westman Islands, often known as the Westman Islands, is home to over 4,000 people and is encircled by 15 deserted isles. The region's history has been shaped by its major volcanoes. Eldfell is one of them. The people of that mountain had to flee their homes because of its devastating eruption. Not wanting to give up the picturesque island, the inhabitants went back to their houses not long after. Protecting the puffin colonies on the islands has been an ongoing custom for the islanders, and they have managed to keep this practice alive through the years. Seljalandsfoss Waterfall is one of the breathtaking attractions in the southern part of the nation. Star Trek, Discovery, an American science fiction television series, features this picturesque waterfall. A tourist center was supposed to be built here, but that idea was scrapped due to concerns that it would detract from the already breathtaking view of the waterfall. The winter panorama that the falls offer is another interesting aspect of the waterfall. You may find Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach on the shore toward the south. The dark rocks and black volcanic ash make it a famous tourist destination. The sneaker waves that may come out of nowhere have earned it a reputation as one of the country's most hazardous beaches. The most recent casualty occurred in 2021, when a tourist from China drowned. Lava that flowed into the water crystallized into basalt columns. which can be seen magnificently from the shore. The basalt sea stacks are located near offshore. According to local legend, these massive rock formations formerly stood as trolls, who were subsequently stoned by the sun. Alternatively, according to scientific ideas, they formed millions of years ago as a result of volcanic activity. Situated next to Raina Beach, Vic Emiral Settlement, which is simply called Vic, provides a different vantage point from which to observe the sea stacks. Before it became a hub for farmers and merchants in the 19th century, the region was historically deserted. Notably, the hamlet is home to U.S. There was a time when Journal Islands magazine named their beach one of the world's 10 most picturesque Laki eruption and lava field. The Laki Craters are part of a quite extensive network of volcanic features. The most toxic eruption in recorded history occurred between 1783 and 1784, and it lasted 8 months and caused enormous damage. Worldwide, the disaster destroyed a significant amount of cropland and killed more than half of the country's cattle. Famines in Europe and North Africa were also exacerbated by the eruption. Located on the crater's southern flank is the Eldron lava field, widely recognized as the biggest lava flow on Earth. Its formation coincides with the Laki Craters eruption. The Apollo 11 crew trained for the moonwalk on the lava field, which is an interesting detail about the area. Grata Lighthouse. Among the country's lighthouses, Grata is both the most famous and the oldest. The Icelandic Marine Administration, in charge of the nation's marine defenses, is in charge of the lighthouse. Near the lighthouse on the Raikyanes Peninsula is the Litla Skard Pool, an impressive natural feature created by volcanic eruptions. Over time, this location has been transformed into a basin-shaped pool due to coastal erosion. Local legend has it that a giant named Odin formerly resided here, which is why the pool is called Odin's Pool. Return to Reykjavik. With a population of more than 130,000, Reykjavik serves as both the capital and biggest city in the nation. As a cultural, commercial, and fishing hub, it is a truly exceptional location. This city is home to almost half of the nation's industry. Hallgrímskirkja Church, a Lutheran parish and the sixth tallest building in the country, is on display in the city. Rivers and waterfalls were among the landscape features that the architects considered. According to mythology, Thor's hammer was a customary architectural element for the chapel. The Sun Voyager sculpture, a work of art representing the potential for new knowledge, optimism, development, and independence, sits on the shoreline of the city. Hvalfjörður and surroundings. Geologically remarkable for its rounded stones and spiky rock formations, Raikyanes Park is situated on the southwestern coast of the Raikyanes Peninsula. The area's numerous earthquakes triggered severe storms and dramatic sea wave bursts, which eventually developed these features. It is said that trolls previously lived here, which adds to the allure of this site. Impressive peaks and abundant of rhyolite, an igneous rock that causes the landscape to pop with vibrant hues, characterize the Landmannalaugar Mountains. The location served as a rest stop and refuge for weary travelers in the past. Located in the highlands is Brennisteinsalda, often known as the Sulphur Wave. This vibrant tourist spot displays a large expanse of obsidian lava that was formed during an eruption in the 1500s. A network of rivers and springs that emerge from a large expanse of lava forms the crowning Fossa Waterfall. Views of milky white streams and beautiful blue water are also available in this landscape. Svartifos Waterfall is another treasure that may be found farther up the trail. It is interesting to note that both of these waterfalls flow from Langjökull, the second largest glacier in the nation. Thor Valley. The southern highlands are home to the mountain ridge known as Thor's Mork. It was originally solely used to describe the valley, but now the entire region up to the Eyjafjallajökull Glacier is referred to as the Valley of Thor, since it is named after the Norse deity Thor. Detapos Waterfall. The country's most powerful waterfall is Detapos. Many refer to it as the Niagara of Europe because of its iconic status and breathtaking beauty. Its name, meaning tumbling falls, describes the spectacular landscape and the rough topography that makes it up. Thousands of years ago, glacial rivers and ancient floods etched out the routes that the cascade follows. The inappropriate texture of the neighboring lava formations led to the discontinuation of plans to exploit the region to generate hydropower. Westman Islands. The southeastern coast of the nation is home to the former volcanic island Vestmannaeyjar, which is also called the Westman Islands. Passengers on the high seas used to call this peninsula Cape Portland. An undersea eruption that occurred during the previous ice age formed this intriguing location. Puffins and seabirds find refuge on the centuries-old island. The lava formation, known as the Darhole Sea Arch, stands in front of the cape. It is this feature that gives the region its unique character and lends it the name Dor Hill. Hverfjall Crater. Many millennia have passed since the last eruption of Hverfjall Crater, a tough ring volcano often known as Hot Spring Mountain, which blanketed the surrounding landscape in ash and left the local flora vulnerable. The moss on the landscape may not return for a few years, so it's best not to disturb it. The Maivatn tiny lake is located close to the crater. The lake and the marshes around it share the same name, which is an interesting quirk. A prominent landmark on the northern shore of the lake is the Catla Volcano system. With 29 eruptions since the country's early colonization, it is considered one of the most explosive volcanoes in the country. In the 18th century, there was a big eruption that lasted 5 years, causing 3 farms to be destroyed and the region to be covered in noxious vapors and ash. Despite the fact that this natural disaster, which is currently recognized as the Mývatn fires, amazingly did not directly kill anybody. Its outflow, Viti Crater Lake, is among the most spectacular in the Catla volcanic system. The formation of this breathtaking site was caused by the Mývatn fires. sunlight and weather conditions also affect the crater's water color, which may range from azure to turquoise green. Verir is located not far from Viti Crater Lake, just a short distance away. In addition to breathtaking vistas of volcanic structures like mud pots, this remarkable location gives visitors a rare opportunity to learn about the Earth's geothermal activities. The low amounts of flora and strong acidity give the place an otherworldly look and feel. In addition, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, have voiced their worries about the possible harmful effects of a neighboring geothermal power plant on the environment, which has prompted controversy. Within the limits of the area, the Dimmu Borgir lava formations provide a one-of-a-kind location with their distinctive stone pillars and rough landscape. The geological formations known as dark castles were shaped by several volcanic eruptions that occurred across the course of many millennia. Folklore holds that these fortified stone structures serve as a portal between our world and the underworld. The labyrinths of hell were supposedly formed there by Satan, according to another legend. Among the country's waterfalls, Gamish stands as the second tallest. Until another waterfall overtook it more than 10 years ago, it was thought to be the highest cascade in the country. The local mythology is the source of its name, which means loud, echoing rumble in English. A guy was turned into a whale by an elf woman who possessed great magical powers. The whale, infuriated by his curse, dove for the kids of a seafaring priest. A tremendous earthquake was caused when the priest retaliated by unleashing his abilities and sending the whale careening into a deep gorge. Another natural beauty is Gudrunard Valley, which is famous for its ponds, cascades, and formidable ravines. The locals think that elves and other supernatural creatures call this area home. Lava caverns, columnar basalts, and breathtaking volcanic rocks may be found in the valley as well. Raikyanes, the Raikyanes hot spring river, is an intriguing attraction in the steamy valley. A visitor suffered serious injuries in April 2017, highlighting the dangers associated with its attractiveness. In spite of this, taking a dip in the river is still legal and quite popular. Dir Hole Lighthouse. The 20th century Dir Hole Lighthouse stands guard over the Sea Arch and the Atlantic Ocean. There was supposedly a rented unit in this castle-shaped building, but alas, it is now closed. And that wraps up our journey for today. If this view took your breath away, go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more hidden gems from around the globe. We've only just begun. And there's so much more waiting to be explored. Got a dream destination in mind? Drop it in the comments. We just might fly there next. Until next time, keep your eyes on the sky and your heart open to adventure. This is Unreal Earth Travels, where the world is seen from above.